Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and today I am creating this really fun scene card using one of the stamp sets from Not Too Shabby's August subscription box. I showed both because I really wasn't sure what I was going to do when I started off this card, and I am actually only using the images from the Brighten Your Day stamp set. I originally had gone into this card thinking that I was going to kind of do a desktop view. It was going to be a craft room with the paintbrushes on the table, and you're looking outside the window and you see some flowers outside. I had debated what I wanted to do because of the different sizes of the objects in this stamp set. While I was playing around with it, I was watching TV. I was kind of scrolling around trying to find something on TV. Inspiration kind of hit, and I decided to base this card off of 50 First Dates. If you've ever watched the movie, it has Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. She was in an accident where she had lost her memory, so every day is a brand new day for her. So her brother and her dad paint this wall white every day in her art room, and she will come in and paint flowers or whatever she feels like on that day. So this is basically her art room where she is painting these flowers and having a really great crafty time. Because of the sizes of everything, I had to play with the depth of it. The jar of watercolor brushes and the paint tube are much larger than her, so it makes no sense for them to be the same size as her because it just can't, because those are the sizes for the images. So I placed them at the front of the card, which makes them closer to us. And so in the back is the wall that she'll be standing in front of and she'll be painting. I had taken a ruler to my card panel and drew a line in pencil, and I'm just going to go in and use my Copic friendly marker to draw that dark black line. For some of these images I did have to mask them off because I needed to stamp on top of them. So for the tube of paint, I put that in front, so I stamped that first, masked it off, and then added the jar of brushes. For the girl herself, I had to stamp her and mask her off because I was stamping flowers behind her. Anything that you want in front, you'll stamp first, you'll mask it off, and then you'll stamp whatever comes behind them. For this card panel, I will be coloring completely in Copic markers, which is something that I don't love to do, but there are some instances where I will. So for a lot of scene cards where I am drawing my own items or objects, I will usually color all in Copic markers because it's just a pain to stamp out masks for them because they're hand drawn, so I can't stamp it. I kind of have to trace it, and sometimes I can't really see the lines. I had to draw in this table to play with the depth perception because these items were a lot larger. It made no sense to have a huge tube of paint next to her or that huge jar of paintbrushes. So I put them on the table and I moved it in front, and then she is standing behind further in the room near the wall. And in the movie itself, she is always painting on this entire wall. They repaint it every night, and so it's a blank canvas for her every day. Since the flowers were pretty large as well, I decided that those were the flowers that were going to be scattered around the wall and she'll be painting them. So when I finish this card, some of the flowers aren't fully colored in, and that's because it's kind of her work in progress and she's working on painting for the day. So 50 First Dates is kind of one of those movies that I watch all the time. I still have cable, so I have a TV guide, TiVo. It records things for me, but anytime I see certain movies on television, I will rewatch it. This is just one of them, and I actually had to really think hard about the color outfit that she wears because she wears the same thing every day because she always thinks it's the next day and nothing changes except for like sometimes there's something that happens that kind of changes the course of her day, such as meeting Adam Sandler, and he kind of inserts himself into her life in a different way, leads them on to different adventures. Let me get back to the card really quickly because I did want to say for my Copic coloring, I am doing usually what I do. I color with 3 Copic markers for each area because I really like the dimension and shadow that 3 markers bring, and usually I'll go in with my darkest color to add the shadow areas, blend it out with my midtone, and then blend out the rest of the image with a lighter color. For the table itself, the jar of brushes is colored a little differently because I felt that, you know, you can see through a jar. This jar doesn't have water or anything. It's just something that is holding those brushes. But because of how glass works, it kind of deflects the color. And what I did was I picked lighter colors to color behind it, so it kind of gives that trick look of being transparent, and you can see the table that it's sitting on, you can see the wall behind it. So I just picked lighter colors, and I'm not like a pro at coloring things like that, so I thought that that was a pretty good job. I could have gone a little darker, but I just really didn't want to mess with it. Once I finished the table, I kind of left it alone. But for the wall itself, I'll be only coloring a portion of it because I wanted it to look like it was a work in progress. When you see the final card, that's why some of the flowers just aren't fully colored in. But there's nothing super special about my coloring. I'm just doing my usual, and because this is a scene card and it's all coloring, this is the entire card. If you're done watching the video because you just wanted to see how I put it together, I guess goodbye. But if you want to stick around, I'm just going to be chatting for the next few minutes while I take you through the coloring, and I'll insert my commentary here and there. I also was inspired by 51st Dates because I will be going to Hawaii, and actually when this video comes out, I will actually be back from Hawaii. And when I was in Hawaii prior, I had looked for the hukilau where they had met, where Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore's characters had met. And it is inspired by that cafe, but it totally does not look the same, and I was kind of disappointed because I am that type of person to really go and seek out places that have been shown in TV shows or movies or whatever. I just think that it's so much fun. So like when I went to New York, I actually did like a movie TV tour where they dropped you off around places where you see in movies. So like Gossip Girl, the Met Steps, and there were different locations. So the Sex and the City house, the Friends coffee shop, things like that. So those things really like just make me so happy because I think it's really fun to see something that you know on TV or in the movies in real life. And yeah, so I made it a purpose in my last trip to Hawaii to do that, and I was kind of disappointed because it looked just nothing like it. So there was another instance where I went to New York and I was looking for the How I Met Your Mother bar, and it was inspired by a specific bar, and I had gone. It does not look like it at all, so I was disappointed. But I do love when you're able to see the exact things that you see on TV because it's just so fun. And it feels like you're kind of a part of it, and even though it just might be the outside. So for like the Friends building, it's actually really short, and I didn't realize how short it was. I had gone and I was like, really, that's it? And I had to rewatch the intro, and it's just, I guess I never noticed it because it kind of pans by it so quickly that I always thought it was like a high rise, and I think New York, and I think high rise. So anyway, I'm totally a nerd for that, but if you are like that too, let me know what you've done and where you've gone and what you've seen, because I just really enjoy that. And in San Francisco, there's a few things, like we have the Full House houses, the actual house, and then when they do the pan shot in the park, the Victorians that are in a row. So I know exactly where that is. I know where the Mrs. Doubtfire house is. And when my cousin from Canada had come, she was obsessed with Princess Diaries. And there was, I forget what it was called, Rose a Street or something, where it was the hill. And we actually looked for Rose Street, and there's no such street. Well, there is a street, but it is completely flat. So it definitely was not the one in the movie. But in Princess Diaries, their school is actually located in the city as well. And I haven't gone because what they show in the movie is the back view of the school. So you actually have to go into the school to see the view that you see in the movie. So I just haven't been able to do that. And especially with COVID, everything shut down anyway. I thought that that would be really fun. I just love doing things like that. So let's get back to the card really quick. I am finishing it up and coloring the background with a light blue. I thought it just was really pretty with the pink and made the flowers pop. I also had chose the floor to be a warm gray for that very reason, because I knew I wanted to add a bunch of color in the background and on the wall. As I finish coloring up this card, I have picked out a sentiment, and in the stamp set, it was kind of funny because one of the sentiments actually says it's a brand new day. I thought that was just so perfect for this card, because for 50 First Dates and Drew Barrymore's character, Lucy, she actually, every day is a brand new day, and it was just so perfect for this card. Normally, that's not something that I would probably put on a card because I really like ones that are functional and I can give it to anyone. I guess it works in this case, and I hope that I can think of a friend who really loves 50 First Dates and this would be the perfect card for her. So I hope you enjoyed this card, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!